members. Shout out to my Patreons. Y'all are the real MVPs. I'm going to be trying to do some special things for y'all in this new year because y'all have definitely been riding with me. If you would like to join my Patreon, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/bstokestyling and make your pledge. $5, $10, or $25. Currently, I'm trying to get to 20 Patreons, you guys. So make sure you help me reach my goal by clicking the link down in my description box and joining my Patreon. You do not want to miss out on the early access to my videos. 2 minutes until we get this party started. Please, if you are entering the chat, please don't forget to answer the poll question. If you're watching on the replay, please make sure that you hit the like button as you answer. We are going to be talking about tonight's episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. So take this time to share this video out to share it here. And we got a minute and 45 seconds until we get started. Don't forget to order your custom B Stokes styling merch. That's right, we have merch. Just click the link down below in the description box and order your B Stokes styling merch today. Hey, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be discussing part 1 to the reunion, the season 6 reunion of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Thank you to everyone who is joining me. Please make sure that you drop down in the chat and tell me where you're joining me from. We are streaming live right now on YouTube as well as Twitch. So shout out to you wherever you're viewing me from. If you happen to catch me from over there on the Twitter sphere, thank you for joining. I want to get into tonight's reunion episode. Let me pull up my notes really quickly and we're going to go ahead and get started. Honestly, the reunion started off kind of slow, if you ask me. I was like, okay, we're doing, we have to start off with going and seeing the women get dressed in the dressing room. Well, let's start there then. How about that? Let's just start there. Let's start with the fashions. Hold on. I'm going to pull up the ladies' fashions really quickly and we can discuss it. Hey, Mom, Life of 5. Thank you for joining me. Anybody else new in the chat? We got our Patreon in the building. Miss Brittany Robinson, one of our Patreons. Thank you for joining. Okay, let me pull up these looks from the reunion. Um, where is it at? Here we go. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm pulling them up. Y'all tell me, who do y'all think was best dressed for tonight's reunion? I put this question up on my community tab back when the pictures actually got released. I want y'all to tell me, who do you think was best dressed? So starting at the top up here, we have a Scala. A Scala to me always looks amazing. I like the side little ponytail, especially because it's like offsetting the side of her dress or whatever. I thought Karen looked good. Karen always serves for the women, okay? Karen comes in not playing any game, letting you know that she is the grand dame. I think Wendy looked nice as well. Her makeup was a little bit heavy for me, just a little bit, but overall, I did think she looked nice. Mia looked good. Let me see if I can. I might need to zoom this in a little bit for y'all. Let's see. Cliff says Mia was the best dressed for him. I thought Mia looked good. I didn't necessarily love her shoe. I know that people were saying that she had on like a stripper shoe, but is that not fitting? I feel like that's pretty fitting. What do y'all think? um, Giselle would have looked decent had she not had, like, it's the belt for me, you guys. It's the belt for me. It's just like every time Giselle could almost look nice, she misses the mark by something. And also her wig looked synthetic. Is it just me? Y'all drop down in the comments. But her wig, and ain't nothing wrong with a good synthetic wig. Let me say that, because I follow a lot of girls who review a good synthetic wig. Ain't nothing wrong with a good synthetic wig. But the part was not plucked enough. The hairline was harsh. Like, it just looked like she took it out of the pack and put it on her head. I'm sorry, Giselle misses when it comes to the fashion a lot. Actually, she misses so much. There was a whole segment talking about her fashions, but we'll get to that in a minute. Robin did not understand the color assignment. This is the second reunion in a row that Robin is trying to do something different than the colors of the rest of the ladies, and it just does not do what it needs to do. On top of that, why did Robin have blue eyeshadow? Somebody tell me. Somebody make it make sense for me. Why did Robin have blue eyeshadow on with this blush dress? Okay. I thought that Ashley, the one down here in the middle, I thought Ashley looked nice. Her boobs were sitting. I am a sucker for good boobage. So I thought her boobs looked nice. I did not like her shoe. Her hair was fine. She looked fine. And then we have Candace over here on the doing this here number on the bottom. I hated Candace's wig. I hated it. Someone posted a picture of Jada Pink on Twitter. Somebody posted a picture of Jada Pinkett from the Nutty Professor, and I was like, yes, exactly. Yes, that is what I'm seeing. And it was not giving, I think, what it was supposed to give. And then something else about Candace, just in particular, is that it never looks like she wears her makeup. It always looks like her makeup is wearing her. And I think that just, she's such a pretty girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's such a pretty girl. Why her makeup is never just sitting on her face, accentuating the natural beauty of her, I do not know. That's the fashions. If I have to pick my favorite, my favorite would probably be a Scala. I think a Scala would be my favorite. I overall, I do think they look nice as a cast. And because especially coming from Beverly Hills, where those women looked a mess during their reunion, I'll take this. Y'all, you know what? I'll take it. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take what I can get at this point. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode. I thought I had my notes pulled up. I'm set up here and did all that talking and still ain't got into the notes. Y'all, please make sure you take this time to like the video. Thank you. Why are we having a 4-part reunion? Somebody tell me. Somebody drop down and tell me, why are we having a 4-part reunion? Do you feel like they are going to give what needs to be given for the whole, or give what needs to be gave for the whole 4 parts of the reunion? The beginning of, we actually could have cut down this part 1 to like 30 minutes. I felt like it was just going on in the beginning for no reason. So we start off with them jabbing at Giselle's fashion choices. Giselle says that she has a stylist. She has the same stylist. Hi, Emma Crawford. Thank you for joining. Giselle says that she has the same stylist that she has had the entire time. Well, baby, I don't know. In season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of getting clowned, don't you think you would have changed them by season 6? But she clearly doesn't learn her lesson when it comes to clothes or men. Anywho, when she says that she actually pays someone to make her look like that, Wendy said on the side, how dreadful. And you know what? That one little comment, that quick little jab from Wendy is going to let you know what kind of energy Wendy is on this entire reunion. Wendy was making side comments and snide comments about every little segment this entire reunion. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I wasn't really mad at it. I was not really mad at Wendy. Y'all tell me if you were mad at Wendy, because I was not. I like it when people keep the same energy. I like it when you come in hot, baby. I like when you ain't feeling somebody and you let it be known. I like that type of energy. So I was feeling Wendy during this reunion. Yeah, and it is what it is. Now is your time to get everything off of your chest. Get everything off of happy and this that you need, especially because y'all done sat up here and watched y'all done watched the season, y'all done watched the confessionals, so you really know what people are thinking and what people are saying. They went around the room, the casual talking. I didn't write notes about that. I didn't care. Then we get a little video from Nicki Minaj saying that she wished that she could have been there for the reunion. So they really tried to fool the girls, and they said that the girls really did not know, or the women really did not know that Nikki was going to be coming and hosting the reunion. So that was cute, I guess, to see, like, to throw them off or whatever, because we know that Nikki will probably be coming. I'm predicting that Nikki will come during part 3. I'm hoping that they just give Nikki like her own part so that we can get into the real questions that the viewers want to talk about. And then that will give us a reason to actually have 3 parts of a reunion. I mean, 4 parts of a reunion, because I'm sorry. 4 parts of a reunion is exhausting. And although this was a good good season overall, I really did enjoy Real Housewives of Potomac. I enjoyed reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't think that we have enough that we need to be talking about for 4 whole hours, y'all. I don't. But okay. Then we get into Mia's segment. You know, Mia is the new wife. So they play back how she came in hot, how she stirred some mess. Quick question, drop it down in the chat. Do you want to see Mia back next season? Let me know. Do you think that she did enough for her first season appearance on the show to come back for another season? In my opinion, although I am not a big fan of Mia, let me make that clear. I am not a fan of Mia. I told y'all a while back that I my mind is made up. I don't care for her. I did think that she did a really good job for this being her first season. She came in, she inserted herself in drama. She stirred the pot like it needed to be done. I think that she earned a hold on, y'all. Let me pull my chair up. I think that she earned a chance for another season. I would like to see Mia back, even though I don't necessarily care for her. So then Andy goes around and he starts asking the ladies what were their first impressions of Mia. She asked Candace first, and I mean he asked Candace first, and Candace said at first she loved her. At first, her first impression was that she loved her. Then he goes and asks Giselle, and Giselle says, "Well, you know, we had a rocky road at first, but you know, I thought that she came in and she was just really being herself." And Candace calls it out and said, "Well, she did a lot of lying." Wendy co-signs. Again, Wendy was throwing a lot of jabs and things on the side. If y'all was paying attention. So Wendy co-signs that Mia came in doing a lot of lying. And we did kind of see her backflip, kind of flip flop. Andy asked her about that. Like, what is it about you, like you act like you like some of the women, but then you will say something shady. And she's like, I'm just transparent. I just say how I feel in the moment. I might like you today, and then we get into it, and I don't like you tomorrow, and so I'll say what I say. I think the thing about Mia was she came into the season knowing how to play the game in order to stay, and knowing that you just kind of have to be on the right side of history. You get what I'm saying? Even though she came in as Karen's friend, she wanted to get in good with the green-eyed bandits at the end of the day, because she knew that would kind of help her solidify her position in this friend group. They talk about her surgeries and how candid she was about her surgeries. They ask her if she indeed got her vaginal rejuvenation, or if she got her clit done like she said. She said she got a whole lot of things done. It was kind of like a mommy makeover. Wendy says that is not a mommy makeover. Wendy say, let's be clear. Let us be clear. I got a mommy makeover. I don't know what she got. Well, there's different types of mommy makeovers, okay? There are different types. And so then they asked, well, didn't you have 3 C-sections? So why did you need to have your lady parts touched up? And she was just like, I mean, me and G are very, very active. And then Wendy says, but I thought all you like is missionary. Andy say, well, you don't know what G working with. I was like, I don't want to know what G's working with, and let's just call a thing, okay? Mia was doing her rounds when she was out here at the men's club, and she had to make it right and make it tight for her husband. She had to get things together. Why we judging this woman for getting her situations together? Get your situations together, okay? Because we know what was happening at the men's club. They just actually discussed the men's club. They say, now, were you a stripper? Were you an escort? What were you doing? She says that the men's club was not just like a strip club. It was a lounge. You had high roll. G was one of the high rollers. He invested there. They had a spa. They had like a shoe shine guy, a massage therapist, hairstylist, makeup artist, all cigar lounge, all this. It was high end, honey. It was high end. It was not Magic City, okay? And so they who was it? Andy asked, well, did they have a champagne room? I don't understand. And then here's another thing. I don't understand why Karen try to act like she don't know what these terms be meaning. Andy asked if there was a champagne room. And Karen gonna say, what's a champagne room? Wendy says, that's where they have sex. And she always talk about some, Karen's talking some, stop, don't do that. Wendy was giving it today. Okay. Wendy was like not holding back. I was like, did they give her a shot or what? I'm sorry. I was tickled. I like it when you keep that same energy. Okay. I like it when you come in unapologetically with the same energy. Um, Let's see. So Mia says, she wore gowns. She would sometimes take off the gown and walk around. She said she wore board shorts under like a gown like she has on today. She would wear board shorts. Okay, sure, Mia. It is what it is. I think we can all infer, we can all understand, we can all deduce Mia was an escort. I think we can all kind of like, I'm sorry. I feel like we can all kind of just deduce that. We get it. That was your past life. You did what you needed to do in order to build yourself up to get you some massage envies. Okay. So they asked if G actually was the one that gifted her the businesses, because she goes on and on about talking about how self-made she is. And Mia says that G is a part of he's a part of two of her 8 businesses. He's not a part of everything, and that she had the massage envy before they got married, but he did help contribute some money towards it, but she already had it. So Mia is letting it be known that she was business savvy before G, despite everyone believing that G just kind of handed her these businesses on a silver platter. Either way, I'm not judging her for that. I feel like, hey, if you can marry well, then that's great. Also, it at the end of the day, you're running the businesses now. Good for you. My only issue is I don't want to hear about how you're a boss every season. It's just like I mean, and we know that she's new money, you know what I'm saying? But you know what they say, new money is loud, old money whispers. I would rather act, even if I am new money, I would rather act like old money than new money. Y'all feels me? And Mia and I think part of that does come from her upbringing, and she coming from the strip club, you know what I'm saying? So now you really feel like you made it, and it gives her a sense of, maybe a little sense of self-worth or something. But I'm sick of hearing about it, to be honest with you. I'm really sick of hearing about it. Hopefully next season she can come with something else besides just that she was a boss and getting caught in lie after lie after lie. Okay. Then we get into a package on Giselle. Where's my shade fan? Hold on. Because I feel like I'm gonna need it when I talk about Giselle. Give me a second. Oh Lord, it's all the way on the floor. I feel like I'm gonna need it when I talk about Giselle. Hey, thick girl, thank you for joining me. I'm glad she says it. She's just doing what Wendy did last season, so maybe it'll be different next season. I agree. You come in trying to validate yourself as this big boss person thing. You're trying to validate yourself. So I guess that's what that is. All right. Package on Giselle. We see Hotel Giselle being built, aka the construction site, Motel, Holiday Inn, Hotel, Motel 6. We'll leave the light on for you. We see Grace driving, all that stuff. And so then they start talking about the breakup with Jamal. And so Andy asks Giselle, when did you and Jamal actually break up? And she gets tongue tied, and she just I guess at the beginning of the year. I don't know. When No, the better question is not when did you and Jamal break up. It's when did you and Jamal actually get back together? The answer is they did not. Okay. I don't like we're talking about this timeline and all of this kind of stuff, and Wendy even calls out the lies, because apparently last season they filmed the reunion in November. In December, that was when Jamal came out with his own binder. Y'all remember that live? If not, shoot, go back on my channel. We talked about it. So that was when Jamal filmed his video about his binder. And in that video, he made it clear that he was single. Okay. And then Giselle says, well, no, it was after that. I didn't take that he was saying that he was single in that live. Everybody else is like, that's what he said. Then she says it was in January. Okay, look, here's the thing. You and Jamal were not together. We all know it. While Andy is trying to ask, well, if you found out that he cheated again, why did you cry? Why you did? I would be more hurt that he cheated on me a second time. That would bring up hurt from the past, and there would be no hurt. There's no reason to be hurt, because this was not a real relationship. Why would you be hurt at a sham? Why would you be hurt at a contractual agreement? Why would you be hurt at that? There's no reason to be. You feel me? That is why Giselle shows no emotion when it comes towards Jamal, because she was never dating Jamal again. And why are we talking about Jamal when he was not on this season? Not nary one time. not a text message, not a dinner with his daughters, not nothing. So why is he even being brought up this season on the reunion? It really shows that Giselle gave us nothing. You hear me? She gave us nothing. So as they're discussing how Giselle moves around and acts like a robot, and her children even call her an emotional vampire, and how everyone is just so shocked that she doesn't have a reaction to this sham of a relationship. Of course, her real relationship, Robin, decides to jump up and defend her and says that everyone handles things differently, so we can't be expecting her to we can't expect her to act like the next person does. All I could do during this time where Robin stuck up for Giselle was think, who put that blue eyeshadow on you? Of all the colors to put on you, with this nice soft, even though the champagne-ish blushish dress that you had wasn't necessarily on theme all the way with the rest of the women. Who who said we gonna kill him with this blue eyeshadow on Robin? Who said that? Who did that? Fire them and fire Giselle's stylist. Or are they the same person? They need to find a new job. It looked a mess. Then we start talking about Jamal's tax issues. Again, we're still talking about Jamal, showing how Giselle has no storyline of her own. And mind you, this is something that I found interesting once again, because I've been calling this out this entire season. They're talking about Jamal's tax issues, and the blog that they put up in reference to Jamal's tax issues was all about the tea, aka the same blog that she is referencing when it comes to Wendy and her husband. So, my question is, Giselle, is this blog credible to you or not? Because if this blog is not credible to you, why would you bring up tea about that from that blog on this show, and then get so defensive when tea from that blog is brought up about you on this show? Make it make sense. Y'all get the knowledge on that? Do you get it? You get the logic? I'm just saying. And I guess we'll shout out all about the tea. Despite all the drama that happened over here on these YouTube streets this year, honey, they must be doing big things, because they have constantly been shouted out on Bravo this season. I'm just saying. But anywho, so Jamal owes $800,000 in taxes. Apparently, it dates all the way back to when him and Giselle were still, in fact, married. And Karen says, well, Giselle, coming from experience, since you, especially knowing that you talked about my taxes as long as you did, coming from experience, I just want you to know that you could be on the hook for his tax issues, because y'all were married. And if I were you, I would just get a lawyer and make sure. Giselle says it doesn't have anything to do with me, and it's that part is over 7 years, so it's a wash regardless. I don't have to worry about that. I don't know nothing about tax law. I don't know how it works. All I'm gonna say is it ain't fun when the rabbit got the gun, and the same hole that you dig for somebody else, you just better make sure that you don't fall into it. It is very ironic that the person that was out here talking about free Uncle Ben and tax reform and all of this kind of stuff could benefit from some tax reform 3-4 years later. How ironic is that? Okay, how ironic is that? We did a quick little conversation about Grace driving and how she had to take the driver's permit 5 times in order to pass. She's not embarrassed about her lack of driving ability. And that pretty much sums up the totality of Giselle's storyline for this season. Let's move on. Let me read some of your comments. Giselle is lying like a rug. Yes, she is. Don't you insult the Holiday Inn and Motel 6 like that. I'm just saying. That construction site with the $900 tear down. Okay. All I heard when Giselle started talking was Levert singing Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall. Giselle don't remember her lies at all. Okay. She's like, it's like the summer, spring, fall collection of She by Sheree, honey, and we never seen it. Just like we ain't never seen Jamal. Giselle is full of it. Giselle gave us an under construction outhouse in horrible fashions. That's all she gives. I'm tired of Giselle. I don't understand why Giselle is a Bravo favorite. I don't understand why they continue to promote her in any way, shape, or form. When you look at after show, why is Giselle given a solo after show? I don't understand anything about it because she legitimately does not offer us anything. We don't know anything about Giselle. Well, I don't know. Is there anything to know about her life? This season, we did get a little bit more of her daughters. We do like her daughters, but that's not enough to sustain you. And there was a question. Was this question asked? I think this was a preview where they because Lord, I didn't write it down in my notes, so I'm thinking it must have been a preview for some of the upcoming episodes where they ask, why is it that every time they come for Giselle, they come for her lack of man? It's because Giselle always comes for someone else's relationship. And so we come for your lack of man because you always come for someone else's man. And then we have nothing else to talk to you about. You never have any other storyline. In the previous seasons, your storyline was what? Writing a book about your cheating man. Let's see. So we've had writing a book about your cheating man, dating a man, losing that man, getting your cheating man back, not having a man at all. That has been Giselle's run of storylines. So that's why she gets hit about a man most of the time. Sorry, that's just what it is. So then we get Candace's package. And I just find it so funny because my husband talks so much junk about Candace. He don't be watching the show like that, but every time he come around and I'm watching the show, it's always Candace crying. Is she crying again? He don't even know her name. He called her Giselle. Like, Giselle's always crying. It's not Giselle, baby. It's Candace. Well, is she crying again? Because every time we turn around, that's what we see. But we get Candace's package. It's been a good year for her. She's gotten signed. She's put out a EP or album or something. Did y'all listen to it? I keep saying that I'm going to listen to it. I still have not. They asked the ladies if they listened to it. Pretty much the majority of the women did listen to it. I did not see Wendy or Karen. Maybe Karen raised her hand. I didn't see Wendy raise her hand. Ashley said she hadn't listened to it, but she will. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to be anything compared to Coffee and Love. And then we got a scene of a flashback of Ashley's single Coffee and Love. And if you ask me, that flashback lasted entirely too long. Nobody wanted to watch her sing on the bed off key. We talk about Chris as her husbander and what does that entail. And she says it's not that he's actually managing her music career per se. And Andy asks, well, is he getting paid? And Candace says, well, he's getting paid in love. And Mia says, well, if you get paid for sex, then that's an escort. And then Candace says, you would know since you're a hoe. Mia says, well, I talk about things that I know. So again, if you ask me, that's Mia admitting that she was an escort. I don't understand why this has to be a continuous conversation as far as Candace goes. We understand the title of husband jury. She said it time and time again. He's not getting paid. If anything, Candace isn't really getting paid like that. Let's just call a thing a thing. She's an independent artist, even being signed to this little label that she got signed last year. If y'all remember, she was in the man's office that just recently passed, and they had they toasted some ace of spades and all of this kind of stuff. Like, Candace has been signed. She's not making any money for real from her music career. So what is he getting paid? What is he getting paid from? You get what I'm saying? Like, what would he be getting paid from? Are y'all asking, is he getting some of this housewife check? Because most of the time the men get a little piece of the housewife check from their wives anyway, because Bravo don't give it to them. I don't understand why we keep asking about if Chris is or is not getting paid in this relationship. 9 times out, and Candace has addressed that he's not. So why do we keep bringing that up? For some reason, I think Andy asked a question about Chris and to Ashley, as if she was the person to ask a question to in regards to Candace. Yeah, hello. But Ashley addresses that she just thinks that Chris has lost some of his confidence. His restaurant folded during the pandemic. He's drinking a lot more. He has weight gain. And this and I have to stop right there, because Ashley, every time we see Gollum, he got a Corona in his hand. So how are you gonna sit up here and talk about what Chris is drinking and what? And see, I said it when during this season when they kept zooming in every time Chris took a drink, that they were trying to spin this narrative that Chris is some type of mooching alcoholic, and I don't agree with that narrative at all. And then on top of that, the pandemic was hard for everybody. The restaurant industry is hard enough, Ashley and Oz, let alone during a pandemic. So, how whatever happened to Chris's restaurant, that is what it is. That is still separate and apart from his relationship with his wife. And I don't like that little narrative there that they trying to spin right there. And I don't like that Candace's own mama was a part of spinning that narrative. And apparently Chris and Candace don't like it either. Candace says that, well, when they ask about Dottie, she says, I need a tissue. So she takes 5 minutes to get the tissue and to have it folded ever so perfectly. Andy folded one for her because he had the perfect square. What was the question? My mother? Oh, yes. We're in the worst place that we've ever been. And I just don't know how I'm going to get my family back. I cussed my mother out in the worst way I ever have, because I just was so hurt and appalled. Candace, no sympathy, babe. Dry the tears. Dry them. We have no sympathy. The fact that it took you 5 minutes to fold the piece of napkin before you started crying took me out. I'm just saying. The fact that you had to prepare yourself for the theatrics of it all is what took me out, girl. So they bring up Dottie and how Dottie was going around talking to everybody at this photo shoot. And then they showed that beautiful bean footage where Dottie legitimately went from one person to the next person to the next person to talk, not just about, well, to talk about Chris and Candace. Mainly to talk about Chris, but to talk about Chris is also to talk about Candace. And Giselle said, well, once you saw that, why were you more mad at us than you were mad at her, at your mom? And what did your mom say about all of that? And her mom said that she didn't remember, as if, again, we don't have this beautiful bean footage. Her mom said that she didn't remember how things happened. And she tried to kind of like justify it, I guess, or whatever. And even though, like we say, even though Mia, I feel like Mia was completely out of pocket. Mia was not the only person that was out of pocket. Robin was asking questions. Giselle was asking questions. She's going up to Karen. I don't think Karen was trying to be all in it like that. But like all of these people who you still sit up here and be all in their face was on the same thing on the same time as your mom. So I don't think that Mia was deserving of the level of vitriol that she got from Candace. I don't. Let me read y'all's comments before we get further into Candace and how things continue to escalate, because basically the rest of the episode is about Candace. So let me see. Um, let me get my glasses, y'all. I'm sorry, I cannot see. While I check the comments, please take this time to like the video. Thank you. Robin is taking up for Giselle in hopes that they don't talk about her fake relationship. Well, you know what? She got pointers from her good girlfriend, apparently. Let's just sit up here and lie about our love life together. What is he doing with the offerings then, honey? I don't know. I ain't gonna speak on the pastor. I don't understand why he was even brought up in this reunion, because again, it was not a real relationship. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what he's doing over there at the New Birth in DC and Atlanta, or what he's doing. He's not a part of this show. He never has been, never will be. I agree with you 100% about Robin. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ashley needs to be quiet and mind her own business and stop starting trouble. Ashley is a big time troublemaker. Absolutely. I don't even understand why Ashley would be referenced in a Candace segment at all. They are not friends. They have not had any good interactions this season. So why would you ask my enemy about what she thinks about my husband? Let's because we already know what everybody thinks about Gollum over there. Ashley, you sit there and you just wait till it's time for you to pump. Okay, you ain't got much to give us this season either, but we'll get to you probably in the slow season two. I mean the slow part two part of the reunion, when we ain't talking about nothing interesting. All right, so then they get on to Candace's comments on Mia, and of course, um everyone felt like Candace went below the belt. Everyone felt like her comments on um her comments on let's see Mia's her comments on Mia's mom were below the belt. And did she feel bad for making those comments, and did she know about Mia's upbringing when she made those comments? She said she did not know about Mia's upbringing when she made the comments. And I've said this too. I don't think that she knew. I really do not think that she knew at the time that she made the comments. What makes the comments so I don't want to say vile. Well, what makes them vile? What makes it dirty? What makes it below the belt is the fact that once you found out that that was a trigger for her to some extent, you decided to double down on it, and that is what makes it unlikable. That is what makes what you do unlikable. Giselle says that she did not believe that Candace's actions were justifiable, and she doesn't understand how Candace could look back on this season and feel like she was right in how she responded to Mia. And I'm gonna say this to Giselle. I find it funny that now that Candace is going against someone that you actually seem to like, you have all of this smoke and you want to hold Candace accountable for her mouth. But when Candace was going against someone that you didn't like, she was the all out victim. Um Candace's and this kind of goes into Andy asking her if her actions are working out for her when it comes to how she speaks to people, because she seems to be the common denominator. Candace then, instead of, and this to me, okay, this is how Candace could have came out on top, in my opinion, at this reunion. This is how Candace could have came out on top. I didn't know at the time that my comments were that triggering for me. I apologize for those comments. That was out of line. Hindsight, looking at it and seeing the relationship between Mia and her mother and the strain and how sensitive of a topic that is, I can own that I was out of pocket for that. I was triggered at the time. That was my response, but I am able to acknowledge that I was wrong. Moving forward. Shout out to Misha. You like, that's how you could have come out on top in this situation. But to go, well, I didn't know about her mom. But you know what? I gave her grace. She should be grateful that that's all I said about her. I went light on her. And just because no one else can keep up with me with my verbal gymnastics, then I'm the one that's always the bad guy. Like, if you truly did not mean, and this is the thing, if you truly did not mean to be that gutter towards Mia, then a simple "I'm sorry" will do. You know what I'm saying? Girl, you know what? It's the housewife thing. Sometimes we hit a little low, but you know what? I ain't mean it like I didn't mean it like that. Um, and so there's been a lot of conversation I've been seeing online about um about Candace and how Candace was treated and questioned during this reunion, specifically from Andy. I really want y'all to get in the comments and sound off about this portion of the live. That's why I have the poll in the comment section. Y'all make sure that you vote. The poll says, is Candace being gaslit or is she the problem? As of right now, it's both things are true. Is what is polling for winning. Right after that is she's the common denominator. Andy says she's the common denominator. Now, Andy recently talked about how he was comparing the Candace and Mia argument with the Portia and Kenya argument, and how he received a lot of backlash when during the Portia and Kenya argument, because people were saying that Portia was provoked by Kenya with all of that kind of stuff. And so upon looking back at it and seeing what happened last year with Candace and Monique, and now seeing her this year in this situation, he said he painted Candace in the same brush as he painted Kenya during that situation, and he admits that he possibly could have done it wrong. Let me see if I can actually pull up what Andy had to say about Candace specifically, while y'all jump down in the chat. So Candace has been tweeting about that, and okay, here it is. Let me see. So here's my thing. Number one, let's go with Giselle real quick. Let me finish Giselle, because Giselle was completely on Mia's side. And like I said, I find it ironic that you're on Mia's side because you like her, but the situations are eerily kind of similar in how Candace seems to react. And then the thing that pissed me off that Giselle said was, well, if you would have got popped, then I would have just been like, it is what it is. So what you cannot do, Giselle, is sit up here and condone violence this season, but then last season act like you were so appalled that women in this group would be a part of violence, so much to the point where you had to hire a bodyguard to come stand in a room with you with Monique. You can't play both sides of the fence, Miss Lady. I would have rather you just shut up, sat there, and I would have said look cute, but we're talking about Giselle. So let me say that. Then, so as far as what Andy said and about her being the common denominator, and they start showing the clips. So we know that Candace had the butter knife altercation with Ashley. In that instance, I was on Candace's side. If I tell you to leave my house and you don't leave my house, then you are now a trespasser on my property. We have issue. So if I throw something at you in my home, if you weren't in my home, nothing would have been thrown to you. You get what I'm saying? So I was actually in that instance. I wasn't on YouTube reviewing at that time, so I can't pull up my receipts for how I felt about it. But I was on Candace's side in that altercation. In the altercation between her and Monique, let's talk about the very first altercation between her and Monique when Monique was still pregnant. Candace was provoking that argument when her and Monique were still pregnant. When her and Monique were arguing and Monique was still pregnant. In that altercation where Monique said, "You better be glad I'm pregnant or I would drag you." Candace was the one that was out of pocket in that altercation, if you ask me. In my opinion, Candace was the one that was out of pocket. Turn around, fast forward a year later, Candace and Monique again in the barn. During that actual altercation, because we can't conflate two different altercations between Candace and Monique. We can't conflate it. When Monique was pregnant and she was like, drag me, then drag me, when she deserved to be dragged. When they were in the barn, Candace did not say, she wasn't saying, drag me. She wasn't doing that. She was a participant in it. I don't think that she was a victim. But I also don't feel like she was, Monique was wrong. At the end of the day, Monique was wrong in dragging her at that moment, because the way that the argument was going, you could tell it was honestly Monique had boiled over at that point. She was at her tipping point. I said this last year. I still did not think that Candace was a victim. And I think that is what is aggravating, because y'all have allowed Candace to play victim for 2 and 3 seasons at this point. And so now you want to hold her accountable. If you have a child, right? If you have a child and then the child let's say the child hits the dog, right? And the dog nips at it, and you chastise the dog. And then the child goes and the child hits the older brother, and then you chastise the older brother. And then the child goes and hits the next child, and now you want to say, oh, hitting is bad. That doesn't register for the child. I've been able to get away with it all these other times. Why is it just now bad? You get what I'm saying? And I feel like it's that same type of mentality with Candace. I've been allowed to say some of the most low, disgusting things. I've been able to hit below the belt time and time again. So why is it now an issue? It's now an issue for everyone because they actually like the person that you're hitting against the belt, and that's not fair. You get what I'm saying? Y'all get what y'all do? Y'all understand my analogy? I hope I am making sense for you. I do think that Candace is the common denominator. I do think that Candace's mouth is reckless. I also think that two things can be true at the same time. And the reason why it hits differently for her this season is because she was used as a scapegoat to get out people that they didn't like the seasons before. And now it seems as though the rules have changed. And I do really want to make a point when there's this conversation about colorism, which I believe that there is some colorism in this cast for sure. But I do want to make a point about the differences in treatment when it comes to Candace and Ashley. I do think that they are two sides of the same coin. They both are messy. I think Candace says worse things, but Ashley is messier. Does that make sense? I think that the things that come out of Candace's mouth, and she can say, "Oh, I can verbally spar with the best of them," and all. You can say whatever you want to say. I just think that Candace tends to hit below the belt when she talks to somebody, and it's aggravating when you'll sit up here and you'll cry and do this all the time. So that's aggravating. But and then Ashley is just messy. I think that she says some dirty things too. She says some vile things too. I don't think that they're necessarily as bad as Candace, but I don't feel like Ashley is put on this pedestal. I feel like people call Ashley out too. If you've known me, you've known I ain't seen it for Ashley. I ain't never seen it for Ashley. And I feel like people call Ashley out on the internet all the time. But you can run whatever narrative you want to run. And I don't think that it's fair to try to weaponize colorism in this argument with the cast and ignore your part in it. You know what I'm saying? You can't ignore your contribution to the backlash. It's not everybody. And that plays further into Candace's victimhood and how she tries to play victim. I'm sorry. It just, in my opinion, it just does. Candace says that she doesn't start anything. She just responds. Okay. Okay. I don't even have anything to say against that. Sure, if that's how you feel. But your response, whatever your response is, I know how everyone goes, oh, you can't get mad and you can't do something to somebody and tell somebody else how mad to get. I know that is like a saying over here on the internet streets all the time. I just feel like at the end of the day, if you want to say that, then you have to keep that same energy. All right, Candace, people start with you. And so you respond. And so if they respond in a different way than you can't get mad. You get it? You can't say, oh, well, I can call your mom any and everything, and I can get gutter and low, and I can get low. But once you put your hands on me, you've gone too far. Because at the end of the day, if you want to try to say that, well, you can't do something and tell me how low to get, there's always somebody that's willing to go lower than you. You can't sit up here and be like, well, I only threw 2 pieces of lettuce, but you threw something first. You know what I'm saying? But I only threw 2 pieces of lettuce. But why did you throw anything? If you don't want any type of physicality, why would you throw anything? That doesn't make sense. You know? Let me see y'all's comments. I've been ranting for a minute. Let me look at y'all's comments. Let's see. Candace should have been mad at mom and everyone else. Mia was not the only one saying anything. I agree. At the end of the day, the person who she should have been the maddest with is Dorothy. Dorothy came out there with that energy about your video shoot. Okay, Mia's talking junk about, oh, this is low budget. I have no one to greet me. Y'all all talk junk about everybody's events. Y'all were just at Karen's vow renewal last episode talking junk about the stairs. Y'all were the green-eyed bandits were just at the cabin out there on the Eastern Shore talking junk about a bathroom. Y'all all talk junk about each other's events. Why did that bother you so much? What bothered you was your mama. That's what bothered you. Whether Candace knew or not, she should not have said anything about Mia's mom. She should not have. Giselle is two-faced. She didn't see anything wrong with what Candace said last year when it came to Monique, because Giselle wanted Monique off the show. Exactly. It's just like playing to, Giselle's a puppet master. It just is what it is. It's a puppet master. Ashley acts as if her benefactor isn't paying for her. Facts. Candace never admits when she's wrong. She always blames someone else. She never takes responsibility for her own actions. And you can tell that is what does her a disservice. That is her issue. That is why she responds in the way that she responds and then acts victim. I think that she is being gaslit by her best friends, the green-eyed bandits, particularly Giselle. But at the end of the day, she also has to take accountability for how she shows up and how she reacts to people. Period. You have to take accountability for it. And for you to know that Mia's mom is a trigger at this point, and to double down and triple down and quadruple down about it is dirty. And I will say, like I've been saying, Mia, you cannot hold your mother's sobriety over Candace's head. That is not fair. If you cared about her sobriety, then you should have never brought her on this show. Whether your mother stays sober or not, that has absolutely nothing to do with what Candace's comments are. Because Candace, I'm sure, is not the worst person to say something. Because if you get on the Twitterverse, I'm sure that people have gone in on your mom much worse at this point. So I agree with Candace on that part. I do. When she's talking to Ashley, I don't care when she goes low, because Ashley goes low as well. She talked about Katie's mental health. So I'll be like, get her, Candace. And that's the thing. I feel like when Ashley and Candace go at each other, it tends to be pretty. They're both lowbrow. Like I said, they're two sides of the same coin. They're two sides of the same coin. And I think the reason why Candace feels like she gets it so much worse is because she goes on Twitter and she doubles down and triples down and goes at fans and that kind of thing. Whereas Ashley says what she says on the show, and then in all honesty, she doesn't have a viral tweet afterward. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is what's the difference, because when you start responding to people, people are going to start responding to you, and that's just how that goes. So I don't feel sorry for Candace. I do not think that her receiving backlash is a black versus white issue, a colorism issue. The second you say colorism, they flag the doggone video, y'all. So I just had to, I'm just saying, I'm sitting up here like, oh, great, YouTube. But anyway, I don't think that that is what it is. I think that is a convenient argument. I think that it is a buzzword. I think that it's something that you can say to make people be like, oh, well, maybe, and da 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 da. And I'm someone who has spoken very candidly about my feelings and issues and everything with colorism on this channel before. I say this as a dark-skinned woman. It has nothing to do with your skin tone. It has to do with who you're aligning yourself with and how you're reacting. And if we really want to talk about colorism, Candace, because we can't pick and choose when we want to pull those cards, because last season, the only person that said anything about colorism, the only people that said anything about colorism on the cast were Monique and Wendy. Candace, you last season said that you didn't see that. That's because you were on the Green Eyed Bandit's good side. So you didn't feel like there was colorism last season. Oh, but this season, all of a sudden, there is. Make it make sense and pick a side. You can't play both sides of the fence, my love. You can't. Now, had you stood down in it last season, then all right, we could have had a conversation. But don't say no last season and say yes this season, because this season you're on the wrong side of the coin. And as far as it goes on this cast, yes, there is colorism. There is. It is what Brooke Ashley says. It's the seventh housewife. We can see it, but it's so subtle. It's such a subtle dog whistle. And the thing about you, Candace, is you play into it unintentionally, but you play into it. All right, that's it. I think I'm done fussing and ranting about this week's episode. The poll officially ended. Y'all seem to agree with me. Both things are true. There is some gaslighting on this when it comes to Candace, but at the end of the day, she is the common denominator. Andy said that he receives calls or tweets every day. He wakes up to tweets every day to fire her. Do y'all think that she should be gone from the show? That's my last question. Do y'all think that Candace should be fired from the show? Sound off right now in the comment section. I did drop the link in case anyone wanted to speak. This is your last chance. Speak now or forever hold your peace. But Candace can't spar with the best of them because her reads are elementary at best. Let's see. Emma says Giselle and Robin never was Candace friends. Never were. They were using her to get Monique off the show. Absolutely. And if she couldn't see that, that was on her. Like, that was on her. Like, I in no way feel any sympathy for Candace when you're sitting here and this woman tells you if you would have got popped, then I would have been on her side. Because Giselle, the only friend Giselle has is Giselle and sometimes Robin. Exactly. It's not colorism when it comes to Candace. She's just a whole child who talks ish and then cries wolf. Then here comes her origami folded Kleenex when she literally cries. Bye, Candace. That is why she's going to be divorced if she don't grow up and stop degrading her husband in public. If that's what we really want to talk about, if we want to talk about why Chris, is starting to look a little rough, got all these gray hairs and all this stuff, he probably getting berated down there to that house. Getting berated. He's tired. He's tired of the negative energy. Do you blame him? I want Candace to continue to go to therapy. Did you just stop after the show, after your court case ended with Monique? Did you stop going to therapy because it no longer benefited you? I think you should go back. Your mama's not therapy. I think you should go back to therapy. I think you should do some shadow work. I think you should work on yourself. I think that you got a lot of work to do. Y'all know I'm an advocate for therapy over here on this channel. And I think she needs to be there on somebody's chase lounge, laid back with her origami tissue, figuring out her issues. Ooh, bars. All right, y'all, that's it. That's all I got to say for tonight's reunion. I don't know if every reunion I will be going live, but I just felt like going ahead and getting this on out for y'all today or tonight. Let me get off here. I have a doctor's appointment first thing in the morning, so I need to go get me some rest. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you have not done so already, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you like this video. I do reviews on Love and Marriage Huntsville. We had a good conversation yesterday. Love and Marriage Huntsville, Ready to Love, Sisters, Marriage Boot Camp Hip Hop Editions, Real Housewives of Potomac. And I have a series that I do called Tales from the Salon, Horror Stories, which are hairstyles reaction videos. Excuse me. So y'all please be on the lookout for all of those. Also, my Ready to Love video. If y'all watch Ready to Love, go ahead and go over to my channel and check that video out. The views are sucky. So I need y'all to go check that video out and tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Ready to Love. I actually really enjoy that show. So I don't know why them views is down this week. Emma says, I don't feel sorry for Candace. I do believe it's colorism on the show, but I don't believe it's colorist when it comes to Candace. Candace needs to leave the show. Thank you so much, Emma, for your thoughts on it. Before we get out of here, I have to give a shout out to my sponsors, which are my Patreons, and of course the Besto Styling Signature Unit. Remember, shout out to my Patreons. Y'all are the real MVPs. I'm going to be trying to do some special things for y'all in this new year because y'all have definitely been riding with me. If you would like to join my Patreon, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/BeStokedStyling and make your pledge. $5, $10, or $25. Currently, I'm trying to get to 20 Patreons, you guys. So make sure you help me reach my goal by clicking the link down in my description box and joining my Patreon. You do not want to miss out on the early access to my videos.